Well, an awful lot of you may be wondering as you drive along the 190, what's up with a large building right near the 198 junction?
It's another so-called brownfield in a box, an old building being repurposed for living space. As we hear from Channel 2's Dave McKinley in tonight's Building Buffalo Report.
You're on a street that's mostly 2- and 3-story buildings, and a lot of 1-story buildings. It's a 7-story, so it really stands out way more than any other property in the area.
And it's hard not to notice that something is up at this Niagara Street structure in clear view of tens of thousands of motorists passing by daily on the I-190. Here, Natale Development is turning what was built in the early 1900s as a box factory before becoming Bison Storage into 41 loft apartments with rents starting at just under $1,000 a month.
When people see it and you see the pictures and the views from the inside, it really almost sells itself for us.
Past the garage, where tenants will enjoy indoor parking, past the first floor, which will be a 5,000 square foot restaurant.
So this area in here, we're going to have to infill it to bring the floor up to a reasonable grade. It'll have windows on the front side and the back side, and the entire space is planned for the restaurant.
Correo took us up all the way to the top floors, where the largest apartments with water views and from which you can see the skyline of Niagara Falls will command rents of just under $2,000 a month.
So you can picture being in, a waterfront unit on here, having your bedroom, waking up and having all these windows here.
Sure. Hey, you got a good price.
And these are all staying.
Yeah.
These are all maple floors.
And the views from the other side heretofore unafforded?
So this whole side of the building was all covered with steel, so that you couldn't see out of the windows at all.
He believes will be equally popular.
A lot of people really love that look of all the neighborhoods on the west side, the trees, the city skyline, the old architecture, the buildings. And you're up high enough now where there's nothing in your way.
There's been a boom of loft apartments in Buffalo as of late, but most of that's downtown. This is not. In fact, it's surrounded by mostly similarly styled warehouse structures in an area with not a lot of amenities nearby. As far as residential structures, it is sort of on an island out here.
Well, it kind of went with a if we build it, they will come type approach on this. It was a little bit of a risk to jump in, first to do such a big project over here.
But they're convinced that this street with major improvements and this neighborhood are poised to become one of the new hotspots in Buffalo.
A lot of these homes that used to be falling apart or selling for inexpensive are starting to be bought by people that are taking better care of them, putting more money into them. The neighborhood as a whole is really coming back.
Which gets to the age-old question of what's in a name and why they picked the name Crescendo for this project.
It's the building up, the culmination of the highest point. So not only was the tallest building, but we kind of envisioned it as being the building up of Niagara Street, kind of the first step, and I'm sure many projects to come in this area. It's really a beacon for this area of the city of Buffalo.
Natale has begun pre-leasing units, and they say, likely due to its visibility along the Niagara section of the Thruway, that interest is running pretty high. The loft apartments should be ready for occupancy in June. Dave McKinley, Channel 2 News.